behind this innovation. Let's see today I'm going to discuss some use cases first. Then I am going to introduce the 5 laws of innovation and discuss these laws using history of cameras and the one is we can also introduce another example today. So what do you think about these cases? I want you to interact with this session. What do you think about this? Apple, iTunes, eBay, Alibaba.com. What do you think of these 3? Apple, iTunes. I think some of you may use this one, Apple, iTunes, or else eBay. So what do you think? The Alibaba.com. What is eBay and Alibaba.com? You can get some logos like this. What is eBay and Alibaba.com? So can someone answer? So Ujita, have you purchased anything from the eBay or Alibaba.com?
Yes, sir.
So then what do you think about the business or the innovation behind that? The Apple, iTunes.
E-commerce sites, website.
So these two can be given as the e-commerce websites, and so e-commerce that means what? B2B or B2C or C2C. What is that? Business to customer or business to business or business customer to customer. What is that? What is that? eBay and Alibaba.com. If you have any experience of purchasing the Alibaba.com, if you purchase one item there, the price is a little bit higher. If you order the bulk, that means 100 items at once, you can get cheaper. So what are the innovations behind that? How they get the customers? And Apple iTunes actually. Apple iTunes is another important concept, innovative concept actually. Apple iTunes. So if you want to download the music, definitely you will have, and you have an Apple device, definitely you will have to use the Apple iTunes. So when you consider the Apple iTunes didn't just create a faster, cheaper, better digital format for music. It altered the nature of the relationship between music and people. You know, if you download some videos or the music or some clips, you can get the what we call the sharpness of the image as well as the sound of the music. Everything is perfect. Apple iTunes. That means it provides the customer that he or she that he or she require. So when you listen to music, or when you listen to a song, or when you watch a video, you want to have the bright images with high quality and the sound with high quality. So the Apple iTunes address those things and give you actually the devices also have developed to cater that music and the videos. You know that when you yesterday night I watched a small video clip, actually nearly 45 minutes video clip related to the new processor of Apple devices, M1 processor. Then, so I could study more about the M1 processor by watching that video. So when I uh, when I watched that video, I could understand how innovations actually help for the humans. Next one is eBay. eBay not just create a market. You see that eBay is not just create a market. It changed the way in which we look at very experience of shopping and plays how community plays a role in experience. You know that when you are a customer of the eBay, you will be the eBay actually website itself analyze you and provide the from the star marks or any other point system. You will be analyzed, and when you are going to purchase the item, the seller will be given a certain image about you. And also when you buy a product, when you if a seller sell a product, and if that product has some defects, definitely you can return it, and also it also will be marked. Just eBay is not just a marketplace, virtual marketplace, just not like a just virtual marketplace. It provides the facility to analyze the sellers and buyers and responsible for each transaction. So the such like of innovative things they have applied with this their e-marketing website. So then I think when you see this thing, you can just think that eBay and Alibaba.com is the e-marketing websites, but you have to think the technology behind it, how to manage the customers, how to analyze their customers and give the feedback of the sellers, as well as the feedback of the sellers will be given to the buyers also. And when you consider Dell, actually HP and Dell are the first the companies that introduced the e-marketing websites to sell the computers. Actually, Dell did not create personal computers. So if you using the Dell website or the HP website, you can customize your required computer, and you can select the processor that you want. You can change the hard disk and the memory, and you can add other accessories like the speakers as headsets, like that. And you can customize actually the computer to satisfy your requirement. That is the main thing. So it radically changes the way we build and buy them, so that we can customize the computer by ourselves and purchase it. When you customize and pay for the computer using the credit card or debit card, your request will be sent to the nearest warehouse, Dell warehouse, to assemble the computer according to your requirement. For an example, if you order the computer from Sri Lanka, the nearest warehouse that we can find is Singapore. Singapore provides that facility. Singapore, inside the port of Singapore, there is a certain warehouse, and they assemble the computer according to your requirement and give it to the courier service. Normally Federal Express or else UPS, Universal Parcel Service, and the computer will be received to you within 2 weeks time. So they will exactly tell the date that they can deliver the computer. So likewise, all the services are connected together to provide the convenient as well as the efficient service for the customers. So these are the one important concept, actually innovative concept. That's why when now you know the meaning of the innovation, and you can when you see a certain thing, you can analyze what are the innovation behind this. That's how you can practice to develop your innovative ideas. And also, Google did not invent internet search. When you consider Google, actually the Google before long, Google may have the biggest data set in the world. So it changed the way advertise, find and pay for buyers. For an example, I will tell you one example. You want to find the nearest bank to the university. Nearest, let's say BOC, Bank of Ceylon, nearest Bank of Ceylon to the university. You search, you give some keywords. You using the Google, you give some keywords. The Bank of Ceylon near to the Pitipara, or else near to your place. In that time, you will be given all the banks which may have a radius of 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers. All the BOC banks, and that information will be kept in their databases. Then if you select the Homagama branch, then likewise, if someone also find the bank near to his place, that information also will be saved. And the Google may have how many search request for the BOC for a certain date or the certain period is there. Actually, this is very, very important for the banks to for predicting the future of the bank. For an example, if more people is searching is going to the Homagama branch, they want to enhance the bank and provide more facility. If there is only one ATM or CDM machine, they want to increase that machine to the 2 or 3 machines. Likewise, that information is very, very helpful for the banks for development. So, but the bank itself may not have such information. The Google may have. So how the Google earn the money is, if the bank wants such information, Google will sell that information to the bank, so that you can see how even though the Google provides some facility for you to search and search and invent something, they save those information in their databases. And whenever if that banks or any other party wants such information, they will provide not the free of charge, they will sell those information. Those are correct information, because the Google search information, as they save it, those are the actual information they have. So this is how the Google going to generate the money. So that also one innovation they are using. So we can define the innovation as a process of change with measurable values. The process of change with measurable values. You know that just in the e-marketing website or e-commerce website, you can see the product characteristics must be displayed, and with the prices, and sometimes comment from the users, and those who want to buy it can purchase through the internet. But Dell and HP introduce new features, customize the products, that they went beyond the virtual marketplace and provide the customization. So this likewise you can find valuable innovation those sites in you also. When you think a general thing, actually it is hardly do the brand new innovation now. For an example, when you do a certain innovation, it will be the extension or the modification or something, not a brand new innovation. Actually, when you consider e-marketing and e-commerce websites, they were developed after introducing the internet and the ICT and the broadband technology and World Wide Web, and also the online payment methods and courier services help to that task. So when you consider the 5 laws of innovation, the one is the innovation is dangerous. Go where the fear is. Let's see later. The innovators are imperious to rejection, so they don't like to reject. And innovating is not inventing. Innovation is not inventing. Inventing plus commercial value equal to the innovation. I discussed earlier, invention plus commercial value for that invention equal to the innovation. Innovation is not a solo flight. As I told you, innovation is not a solo flight. And next one is, innovation is a treat to yesterday's success. Let's see one by one. Go where the fear is. That means innovators look at risk differently than most people. When you consider the innovators, entrepreneurs are innovators. They have to work in the risky environment. They have to work with the limited resources. They don't know when they innovate new product or service. They don't know, and actually they did this innovation analyzing the customer's unsatisfied requirement and everything, but they have a high risk whether this target crowd would accept this product or not. Sometimes the innovators develop the product same as the product in the market, but adding some new features. That means the substitute of the existing product. Substitute of the existing product. When you consider the mobile phones also, why they are going to introduce new types or the new versions with a short period of time. When you consider the Huawei company or the Samsung or the Apple, or they are releasing the new phones annually, adding some new features. You know that if the customer use a certain product, they will never go to try the other products. Most probably they use the same product as long as they can. That's why the companies introduce new products with new features with a short period of time. So when you analyze the lifetime of the electronic devices, especially computers, mobile phones, desktop and laptop computers and mobile phones and other devices, the lifetime is very short. So when you I explained this also in the ICS lecture. The De Morgan, he is the founder of the ADM company, that is a processor company. He said that the lifetime of the electronic devices is very short, and every 18 months time, that means 1.5 years time, the new product, a new version of the existing product or the new product will be released. That's why when you analyze the processors, I think you could remember the dual core, quad duo, then it came the I series, i3, then i5 and i7. Even nowadays you can find the i9 also in the market. So very short, within a short period of time they are going to introduce. And when you consider the Apple iPhones, they have released the third 12, and they are going to release the 13 also now. Why? They want to keep their customers as long as they can, and most probably they want to get the highest market share in the world. So when they invent, they have to work in a risky environment. Sometimes the multinational companies, they don't have the high risk, but the individual innovators, they have to work in a risky environment. They for their innovators innovations, they have to spend the money, but they don't know whether they could succeed of that innovation. When you consider, I will share you one example, one experience I had. One of my friend, actually he is an electronic engineer. He developed the machine for the petrol sheds. You know that normally we get the petrols from a certain machine. He developed the machine by himself, having more features, something like when the machine starts to input the gasoline, petrol or diesel to the machine, that can be connected through a wireless device with the computer. They are in the office, and the manager can see how petrol pumps, actually those are called the pumps, are working, and get the real time meter of each and every pumps to the computer, the manager's computer. And also the accuracy, he developed the accuracy to the millimeters level. But he spent money and he did the experiment in India, and he developed the pump. But the main petroleum distributors did not accept that machine. That is because of this different reason. They normally import the machine from the foreign countries, and in that time the minister as well as the higher officials did not give the permission to install that pumps to the sheds in Sri Lanka. They actually rely on the foreign machines, but it was proved that pump is high accuracy than the other machines, the important machines, but no one accepted. He spent a lot of money for that innovation, and what would happen? Finally, he had to give up that idea. And no one, actually the main body did not give the permission to install such machines to the Sri Lankan petrol sheds. So it could, if he could be given the permission to install that machine in the Sri Lankan sheds, the government would have saved a huge amount of money by purchasing the foreign machines. So he could actually, in that time, for nearly 5 years before, he could manufacture the same machine with additional features and high accuracy for the half rate of the machine pumps in the market. So that is the thing. The innovators failed phase, and they have to work in the risky environment. So empiricist rejection. The visibility of an idea is a sure, fair way to risk a quick judgment. The ideas are quickly copied or adopted by others when they do start to take roots, and fear the market's financial punishment for taking off new ideas. So the visibility of an idea is a sure, fair way to risk a quick judgment. So when you give that idea, actually, although he had a risk, he did not like to withdraw his idea. So he wanted to show that he can do this one. So if that idea was adapted by others, and that means in the petroleum company, when they do start to take root, so that he could actually, the both parties can win. The innovator also have the high security for selling that machine, and also the government also can save the machine. Actually, when you do the innovation, that means most of the time we will have to pay win-win game. The win-win game, both parties must win. If someone wins and someone fails, that is not the way. So the business will not be succeed. So they have to have the win-win game. So it's not inventing actually, but as I told you, the difference between the inventing and the innovations. Innovation is a process of creating values actually. If for the inventing plus the commercial value equals to the innovation. So innovation always come with the commercial value, creating the value. Actually, inventing is a movement of inspiration which need not create a value. So you can find some inventions, but that invention cannot be commercialized. If that invention can be commercialized and it has a business model and the market model, definitely it will be the innovation. So you can innovate something thousands of years old. Consider this. Last week also I showed these pictures and I asked the different view of the innovative ideas. So someone can see the face, or someone can see the moon, and here in this case also someone can see the same idea can be seen in different ways by the different people. That is actually with his intelligence level or the education level or any other, the creativity of him, he can see the same idea in a different way. So here you can see, at a glance you can see a tree, but when you carefully look at this picture, you can see there are two animals, by facing each other. And also here, this is also the same. You can see, sometimes you can see this is a vase, or else someone can see that two faces are looking each other in a dark environment, the black environment. So likewise you can actually that is depend on the person. He can see and he can understand the problem. When you consider, this is actually looking at the person, he or she can understand and explain and implement that one. This is also the same. I am not going to explain more about this because this was introduced last week. So next one, actually when I prepare the lesson, I couldn't find the technology example for this one. So I am going to add the example that is in the book which I refer. So let's see. This is a beer. You know that most of the European countries, the second highest drink is the beer. They normally, after having the lunch or dinner, they normally use have the beer instead of the water. And also when they come back from the home after working, they normally have a beer, not only one, but sometimes 2-3 cans. Actually it has a little alcohol, not like the hard drinks. So the Kim Kok changed this one. I had an opportunity not only succeed as a business but help to create a beer culture in America. Actually this is not the example of in Sri Lanka, and he could create the beer culture in America that's really changing the way Americans think about beer. When you go to some countries like Japan and Korea also, in the summer season, they introduce the new concept that is called the beer gardens. So normally the beer companies open the beer gardens in the main cities, and within a limited time, and you can drink the beer as much as you can for a certain fixed amount. When I was in Japan, actually I went some beer gardens there, and they for 1,000 yen, they will provide the 2 hours time and provide some vegetables and also other foods there with the beer. Within 2 hours time, you can go with your friends, and normally a group of students, actually we went as a group, and spend their 2 hours time for 1,000 rupees and had the beer as much as we can. So there is no any limit. So that is also the culture actually. That Kim also had an opportunity not only succeed a business but help to create a beer culture in America that's really changing the way Americans think about the beer. Normally the summer season, almost all the people have the beer daily. Here the market strategy also, seasonal brewers and brewery efficiencies, distribution channels. He introduced the distribution channels, so he could change the culture. And also for the parties, actually they are not going to provide the the bottles like this. It can purchase the cans like this. Freshers beer in towns just in time delivery, transparent inventory and sales info, less product degradation and waste. So here when you consider if you have a party, so if you have a home party or a party, you can order the bulk. So you can by ordering the bulk actually, what we call, if you buy the bottles, how many bottles you have to buy? When you consider the bottles after the empty bottles, what are going to do the empty bottles? Actually, you may have some you may have to think what you are going to do those empty bottles later. So if you get like the bulk one, you need not to think, because this actually we don't normally call the drum, will bring by the company later. So you can save the money, and as well as you can protect the environment, and by having this one. So that's why the fresh beer in a town just in time delivery. So just in time, whenever you want, it will delivered. It will be delivered. The transparent inventory and sales info, less product degradation of the waste. Actually, this will be the one solution for minimize the waste as well as protect the environment. And also, next one, acquire smaller craft breweries, review miracle brews, actually combat new ideas and receipts. Actually, when you consider this thing, they have designed even the cup also. Here, the beer cup, thinner walls, rounded shape, narrow top, and you can see this is actually handy glass to keep that glass and use that. This also has been designed by the Kim actually. Next one is, fourth one is not a solo flight. Not a solo flight. So what is that, not a solo flight? The next law is, after researching 19.9 million, not a typo actually, scientific papers written over the period of 50 years and 2.1 million patents, the authors uncovered a distinct and significant trend towards terms in new discovery. In fact, the idea is so compelling that in some areas the trendliness and indicate that by 2020 scientific and engineering discoveries will result almost exclusively from team effort. Actually, when you innovate something, so you had to refer a certain papers and certain works done before, and sometimes you have to refer the magazines, books, research papers, and discuss with the experts before you are going to innovate. And when you innovate something, you just think that the technology behind it, who discovered the technology. Sometimes you have used that technology with your new idea. You have used the technology with your new idea. When I explain two innovative ideas in this class earlier. One is the e-channeling system. Another one is universal shopping cart. E-channeling system, actually the concept is new, but when you consider technology behind that, it has been discovered or innovated sometimes 10-15 years before. So using that technology, what you have done is you have developed a new idea, new innovative idea, aren't you? You just think that. So when you have when you analyze the e-marketing system to channel the doctor, and the person who first introduced that idea might analyze the patients who are in the remote towns or the village, and the face what type of difficulties that they faced, and then how to efficient and this process, and how to provide the satisfactory service for the patients, and then analyze the segment that he has, and the size of the segment is all the patient who may want to channel a doctor. So he could understand that the sustainable and sufficient customer segment is there. And so then when he developed the system, he had to use the technology, internet. One is actually the e-market, he had to use the World Wide Web and easy payment method using the credit card or debit card. Okay, so all those are not new and not all those things have been innovated before that. So he had to use a set of innovations with his new innovation. Sometimes without that innovation, that person would not be done such innovations. So that you can understand, when you do the innovation, that is not the solo flight, that is not the brand new one. You have to use the someone else innovations with your one. And another example is, then when you consider the e-marketing website, some people couldn't in that time channel a doctor using that one, because they did not have the credit card, or sometimes they did not have the debit card. So then I remember that the Mobitel or something, what Mobitel did is they provide the facility to call if someone wants to channel a doctor, they can call to a certain common number and tell the requirement. So the Mobitel will get an appointment for that person, and the channel fees will be added to the telephone bill next month. So such like of sophisticated methods were introduced, so that you can understand how those ideas comes. And next one is actually between 90s and 1950, 39 Nobels were awarded to individuals as opposed to 4 teams. So this 50 years time, 39 Nobels were awarded, and to the individuals as opposed to 4 teams. Between 51 to 2000, 33 were awarded. You can see the earlier had 39, now 33 awarded to individuals as opposed 36 for teams, and opposed 46 teams. See the trend. So see the trend. So, even the 33 were awarded, but 36 team opposed this one. See a trend of that. The last law is a treat to yesterday. What is that? A treat to yesterday. If you try to a threat to yesterday. Sorry. If you try to innovate by pleasing the market, you fail. Market only know what they have experienced. So innovation change experience. So always, if innovate pleasing the market. Market means actually without analyzing the customers' unsatisfied or unmet requirement, definitely it might fail. So, and also not only that, you will fail unless you deliver the product characteristics to the customers in time. You will have to explain, you will have to deliver the product characteristics through communication or the marketing channel to the customers. Otherwise, they don't know what are the features of that. Okay. So, these are the laws that you have to understand in this innovation. So, let's see the power of combination. What is the power of combination? So when you combine advances, the GPS, the web, insurance cost for the 20 something years old, and the rising cost of the automobile, you have the possibility for an entirely new business model. Actually, combination is very, very important. When you combine the technologies to each other, you can develop the sophisticated, or you can develop the new innovation with high features, or and also you can have the entirely new business model. When you analyze the evolvement of computers, the computers were developed the generation wise. The first generation, second generation, third, fourth and fifth generation. So the first generation is started 1944. So before that, weren't there any computing machines? Yes, there were, but it could be found the significant changes from 1944, and with the development of the transistors as well as the ICs, you can clearly divide the generations of the computers. Nowadays you can see how powerful even the laptop machines, and also the processing power, and also the capacity, memory capacity, as well as storage capacity. Everything has been developed in a high position. So how can it done? The development was done using the combination of the technology. So we'll understand the history of the photography. So you can see the history of photography. Actually, first the camera invented 1021, then world first photograph is 1826, 1826. You can see the first photograph. And 1851, illumination plates condition process, and 1888 the Kodak sells the first camera. 1888 you can see the 1889 fluoride introduced the first instant camera. 1848 1991 first professional digital camera was introduced in that, and also in between this 1685 the first portable camera. Then 1831 also process another one. 1871 Richard Madrex invent by plates. Here you can see the history. When you go through this one, you can see the history of the camera, brief history of the photography. Here you can see, I am not going to explain all. Here the picture I explain. Creation camera obscure and pinhole images. So here is the technology that I think you will go through this one and understand. Just I want to tell you how it develops actually. Nowadays actually you can, even your mobile phone has a camera. So that is with high quality pictures, and you can easily upload those pictures. Here you can see Nikon. I'm not going to explain this one actually. Just you can read this and get an idea. Even the mobile phone, here you can see how photography has changed the world. Overall impact of the photography on the world has been the ability to bring the truth to the people's eye in an old world that could only obtain information by someone's verbal or written story, drawing or painting. We were very much at the mercy of the author's perspective. Depending on the source, a story could be completely extricate or even false. So then we don't have the time to read this one. Here you just read how it was developed. You know that from the film's camera to the digital camera, from the film's camera to the digital camera, how it takes. Now we can hardly find the camera with the films. All cameras are digital cameras, and likewise we can analyze the history of the internet. I am not going to add that to the today's lesson. Also we can do that. So that's end of the today's lesson, and mainly I wanted to discuss the laws, these 5 laws of